Welcome to Bahrain, everybody. AOR is proud to present, and presented by Hype Energy, I should mention, hashtag AOR Hype, the Bahrain Grand Prix for rFactor 2. I am NinjaRider, otherwise known as Curtis Kenyon. With me tonight is the ever-present, ever-tired Craig, or not Craig is on the track, I should say, Zack Jones. How are you, man?
I'm very good, thank you. Yes, very early here in Australia, but it's very intense on the track. We're about to head into Q2 now, with the top 10 progressing into a top 10 shootout.
For some reason, I don't know why, but it's my camera mic that's fucking us up. He said cussing when he's not supposed to.
So yes, we've got 10 cars progressing into Q2. We've got Craig Baxter, followed by Scott Davison, Kieran Chadwick in third, Keen White in fourth, with got a few more drivers heading further down the grid. In fifth, we've got David Peshkovsky, sixth, Callum Roberts, seventh, Brandon Othlen, eighth, Adam Cronin, ninth, Daniel Kermick, and in 10th place, we've got Max Shepard, who progressed through to the top 10 shootout, which for Q2, and the tyre that they set their fastest lap on in Q2 is the tyre that they've got to start the race on. So all the drivers now coming to the end of the pit lane. We've got Kieran Chadwick in third place, who's at the end of the pit lane, going to lead the cars out onto the track for the final part of qualifying. As we've got just under 7 minutes for drivers to set their fastest time, which will set the top 10 part of the grid. Most likely going to see a Defiance car up there. They've shown very, very good pace through the practice sessions so far before today's qualifying session. So expect to see Craig Baxter or Scott Davison up the top there, heading towards pole position.
I'm having some serious microphone issues.
Okay. Brian, if you just want to press enter to go to full screen. Yep, radio. Oh, okay. But yes, we're going to have the drivers now heading round. Max Shepard's decided not to go out in 10th place. Maybe he might be doing a bit of a strategy call to free up his options, start on a different compound of tyre, and mix things up. With a fairly good grid spot there, 10th place. We've got a lot of drivers down the grid. We've got Kieran Chadwick now in third place. He's going to be starting the first hot lap of Q2, heading down the main straight towards turn 1. Going to be braking just after the 100-metre mark, hitting nearly 330 kilometres an hour, and he gets all out of shape there, locking the rears, I believe. But now he's going to keep pushing on through turn through. Up now towards turn 3, running over the rumble strips. You've got to make sure you don't get caught on those because you'll be losing a lot of time. Braking just after the 100-metre mark into turn 4. You can really afford to run wide here, but not too wide, as Kieran managed to do so. Heading out through the fast part of the lap here, head down towards the hill into turn number 8. So now we're going to be heading back up the hill now towards turn 9 and 10. Which is a very, very dangerous part of the circuit to lock up your tyre and run wide. It can be can make or break your lap instantly. But Kieran's about 2/10 off the fastest first sector time done. He's going to be heading up now towards turn 11. Got to make sure you don't get caught on those curbs either, because there are sleeping policemen there on the runoff area, which can really throw your car around. But going to come through the second sector split. He's down by 0.3 of a second on the fastest lap done so far by Craig Baxter. So Kieran's got a bit of work to do here in the third sector to see if he can try and get himself onto the front of the grid. He's going to come through the final 2 corners and back onto the main straight, getting a little bit wary there on the final rumble strip. He's going to come across the line to do a 1 minute 27.4, which is a fairly decent time, but it's immediately been elapsed there by Craig Baxter by 0.3 of a second. Let's go on board with Scott Davidson in third place. He's He's on an outlap, is he? I believe he made a mistake, so he's back on his outlap. Let's see if there's anyone else doing some laps. We've got, I believe we've got Daniel Kermack in 9th place. He's going to come through the final 2 corners, back onto the main straight, and he's going to come across the line to do a 1 minute 29.4, which puts him in 7th place, the slowest of the people to have done a lap thus far in qualifying. But we've got some more cars coming out onto the track now. Callum Roberts in 6th place. He's coming out onto the track, preparing to do an outlap, but I believe we've got Scott Davidson will be the first one. Yep, he's going to come through the final corner now to start his lap. Scott Davidson in 9th place. He's going to look to improve on that. Maybe potentially get himself onto the front row alongside his teammate, who's currently on provisional pole with a 1 minute 27.3, I believe. But he's going to have traffic there into turn 1. That's already thrown him off wide. He's skidded, losing the front grip because of the dirty air, gone wide through turn 1, which has already compromised his lap completely. But he's going to press on, heading up now towards turn 3. Into turn 4, sorry. He's going to make sure, just following his line, trying to keep himself together. Heading through the fast section of the lap now. Heading down the hill towards turn 8 at the hairpin. Going to be heading back up the hill now towards 9 and 10. The real danger zone of the lap, as I was saying, because if you pinch that front left, you'll be skidding off the track and losing a heap of time, which is not good, especially in the race if you do it, because when you flat spot these tyres, you really start to feel it with vibrations coming through the wheel. So you've got to make sure that you can keep your car under control and not compromise your tyre wear by locking up that front left especially. But Scott's down by about half a second now through these first 2 sectors on his teammate, which will slot him onto the second row into 3rd place at the moment, as we've got a bit of a gap. We've got about a second gap between 2nd and 3rd, Kieran Chadwick and Kean White. But here comes Scott Davison through the final 2 corners.
How am I sounding? Does that sound a little better?
Yes, we can hear you, Curtis.
Excellent.
That's going to be 3rd place there for Scott Davidson. We've got all 10 cars, I believe. Yep. Oh no, apart from Max Shepherd and Scott Davidson are not on the circuit, but we're going to have, I believe we're going to have Craig Baxter, who's making his way up now towards the 2nd sector split on his outlap. Kieran Chadwick's doing the same. We've got a minute and 10 seconds left in the session, which means that we're going to be going towards the final crescendo of laps, because it's all going to be happening. They're all going to try and improve. Scott Davison may have left it a little bit late, though, I believe. That might be his sole run that he can do in Q2. Yeah,
that's just going to... He's just coming out of the pits way too late. You have to come out of the pits right about the minute 30 mark in order to make a decent lap and, really concentrate. Very, very weird.
But here we go. Craig Baxter's also in the pits. He's decided to not do anything in bad lap. So let's go on board with Kieran Chadwick in 2nd place, who's going to be starting a lap here. His final lap in Q2. His final run at a chance of pole. He's 3 tenths behind Craig Baxter, so he's got 3 tenths to make up throughout this lap to see if he can put himself onto provisional pole position. Heading through turn 1, all nice and neat. Heading through turn 2 now. You've got to make sure you don't get caught on these curves on the outside. Through turn 3, now up towards turn 4. Now this can be the real danger zone, as he's going to be braking very heavily up past the 100 metre mark, and got to make sure he doesn't run out too wide with these rumble strips, because they can lose you a heap of time quite easily. But now through the fast section of the lap, down the hill, plummeting hard and fast. He's about less than a tenth of a second behind Craig Baxter's best first sector time. He's done a 28.2 in the first sector, which is a good bank at a good setting stone to go off. It's just under half a tenth he is behind Craig Baxter, so he's got to make sure that he can improve on his time here. Heading along the back straight towards turn 11 now. Be braking heavily, trying to carry as much speed as possible up the hill. He's going to keep the car under his control, so he's going to head towards the 2nd sector split. What's it going to be for Kieran Chadwick? He's a tenth, nearly 2 tenths down on himself. He's Kieran Chadwick in 2nd place. It might just be 2nd place for him here in Bahrain. Let's see, he's going to head towards the final 2 corners, breaking up to the 100 metre board again. It's going to be a run to the line through the final corner. What's it going to be for Kieran Chadwick? Is he going to improve? He does, but not enough. Craig Baxter is on pole position for the Bahrain Grand Prix here under the lights in Sakhir. And we've got Kieran Chadwick there in 2nd place, followed by Scott Davison, Kean White in 4th. We're going to run through the rest of the grid. In 5th, 6th place, Adam Cronin. 7th, Daniel Kermick. 8th, Callum Roberts. 9th, David Proskowski. And in 10th place, we've got Max Shepard, who decided not to do a lap in Q2. So he can choose whatever tyres he wants to run on at the start of the race in here in Bahrain from 10th place on the grid. So that really opens up his options strategy-wise.
Yeah, it opens up a ton. I mean, you might be able to start on some mediums. Could start on softs if you want. I assume a lot of people are going to start on the super softs, though, because, let's face it, you have to really be moving quick through these corners. Some of them are pretty slow, and you have to make sure that you have the grip at the start to get a decent placing as the grid files out. But we're just about to move into a bit of a warm-up session, allow the drivers to breathe a little bit. They're going to set the grid and get everything poised and ready for the race here at Sakir. Fantastic track, I have to admit. Ran a few laps yesterday and the day before, just trying to get a feel for everything through the mod of rFactor 2. Ran it in a variety of different simulations before, but this particular setup requires the driver to be extremely precise in everything you do here.
Yeah, it feels like they have to run with a real lack of downforce because they want to maximise their top speed on the straight. So the corners become a lot harder when it comes to getting through them, especially when you're in dirty air, because you're losing downforce with the light aero package, but you're losing it even more when you're in slipstream. But we've got an interesting race certainly ahead of us with Craig Baxter on pole position, trying to get the win and get some points back in the championship after what was a very interesting Australian race, with him being taken out there in the early stages of the race, which left him with damage that could not be repaired, and he was very lucky to come home with a point.
Yeah, and he had to move real hard too. Moving through the field at Australia isn't exactly an easy thing to do. Granted, there's a lot of passing opportunities at Australia. The question is, what kind of passing opportunities will everybody be able to create here at Bahrain with no aero? I mean, it's really going to be a driver's race. It's up to the drivers to make it safe, make sure they don't crash into anybody, and get those braking points. Braking points are going to be extremely critical here as the night wears on in Sakir. Is there any corners really that we should be watching for, Zach? I mean, obviously turn 1's going to be nuts because of all the speed you carry into it, and it is so sharp. You have to hit it just right.
The start will be an interesting prospect with turn 1 because of how tight it is. A lot tighter than Australia, so you're going to funnel more cars into a tighter corner. It's almost certain to be some sort of incident heading into there. Maybe a couple of front wings, maybe knocked about, a bit of damage, maybe to the suspension. But when you start to get damage on the car, it becomes very hard to drive. This machine is hard at the best of times to drive. Imagine having sort of a bit of a bent steering wheel. It just makes it completely, almost impossible.
Thinking might help if I actually had a track, huh?
But in terms of the other corners, I'd definitely say turn 4, as people sort of view that as an overtaking opportunity.
Maybe after the long
Turn 11, especially after the second dose of DRS, it can certainly be an area where people might try and go for a sweeping manoeuvre. Sometimes it won't work out, but people might be carrying a lot more speed than others heading into turn 11 because they've had the DRS, which the car in front of them don't. So you may see an attempt at a move there, but you also may see a failed attempt at a move there, with some cars just end up just spearing into the other.
And you have to be really careful coming through there too, because it is a fairly sweeping turn as you go up the hill, and as you lose grip coming up and over the hill, there's potential there for the car to kind of sweep outside. And if somebody's on the inside of you, you got to be really wary of that. If they're carrying too much speed coming out of that corner, they might overload the front end, and it might just wash out on them. It could be precarious. I would imagine these drivers would be able to hold that just in case, but you never know, and you got to be really careful here, just in case there's any lag or anything like that. You never know.
Yeah, I feel as though the main straight will be sort of the identified place that'll be the main opportunity to make an overtake. As you've got DRS, you got to potentially, you might have a good run coming out the final two corners, and then you have DRS along the main straight, and then potentially just make a straightforward move into turn one. Or you may have someone defending very hard into turn one, which may make your life a lot harder. But I can see that turn one would be the main place for an overtake, and obviously. If you are on the outside for turn one, you suddenly have the inside for turn two. So it's sort of, you're not out of it completely until you get out of turn two and turn three, and you're on that straight back down towards turn four. That's when sort of you know that the position is set, as the sort of the nature of Bahrain allows for people who are on the outside to become on the inside and back in the fight, but then they might be put back out to the outside. So it sort of jostles position, and that's what we're going to see at the start of the race, especially with so many people all over the shop, really, trying to get those extra positions. It'll just be insane.
You mentioned the flat spotting of tires. When I was running laps myself the other day, I ended up flat spotting going into that very sharp hairpin. I believe it turn, what is that turn? 8? 9?
Yeah, turn 10's the one that is
turn
just
10,
before the back straight, and that's the real danger corner of the entire circuit, because you carry so much speed through there, and it's so tight that you pinch that front left, and you've got a flat spot. And a flat spot on this mod is very, very hard to maintain and to nurture, I guess. So you've got to go into the pits, which can compromise your strategy.
Not to mention, it does come through the wheel, and it's very extremely noticeable. It is jarring sometimes. You really have to be extremely careful once you do flat spot your tires and you want to stay out, to make sure that the wheel doesn't jump out of your hand. I mean, it's that jarring sometimes.
So severe, yeah.
But I assume it's going to happen eventually, especially with the green track towards the beginning of the race. As the race wears on, I expect that to start to go away with grip coming on. Although once you get off that racing line, it does become quite slick. So when you go for a pass, you're going to have to make sure that you either win that drag race or you know that you can outbrake your opponent. And on the inside, trying to outbrake someone, that can get extremely hairy. So I'm really interested to see how these drivers are going to fare on a track at night too. So you got cooler track temperature. So but speaking of track temperatures, the nice part is this particular track is tough on tires. I mean, you get a lot of heat going especially with all these sweepers and switchbacks and things.
The temperature of the tires will really be tested, so I think the super soft will not last that long. Obviously it's the option tire, the softest compound available, so the red mark super softs will probably last the least, and sort of the preferred race tire I think will be the softs most likely. That'll probably be the strategy that many people go with, I think, as sort of the best option.
Bahrain itself hosts a ton of different types of races, anywhere from motorcycles all the way up to 24-hour series, and lots of endurance racing happening here. Porsche Super Cups, Formula 2, all kinds of stuff. And in every car, you have to attack the track completely different. In this setup, in Formula 1, you have to be more aggressive than you think. Going into just about every corner, the car will stick, assuming you have the correct setup and all that. But you have to make sure, though, you get that line perfect when you're completely at full tilt. If you come off the line just a little bit, come out of that black area, car will start to wash out either the front end or rear end. It doesn't matter. And it does get a little bit dicey. The nice part is, because of the cooler track temperatures and because the tires are so good, actually, it's fairly easy to recover once you get the car back under control, but you're going to be way off the line, and it could be a little bit shaking for these drivers. They're going to have to make sure they don't let that get in their head.
Yeah, I think the sort of when the rear of the car starts to step out, especially in this car, it is very, very hard to save without flash spotting your tires. So the main issue that you've got to worry about is if you do start to lose the rear of the car, if you do spin, you're going to flat spot your tyres, you're going to put a heavy mark on them, which is going to affect both the drivability and the pace of the car. So pretty much, especially at Bahrain, which is a fairly tyre-intensive circuit, if you do spin, you're most likely going to need to come in for a set of new tyres, because it's the negatives are going to way outweigh the potential positives that may come with staying out. So obviously with the night time as well, the light will be fading. The driver sort of the reference points that the drivers will have will sort of start to change with the sun setting, which also can provide its own challenges. But obviously they're pretty acclimatized. They know where to be braking. They've got the brake marker boards, which aren't going to change with the night. They're going to be there no matter what, unless someone hits them, of course, which would throw a spanner in the works beyond belief. It's a driver's worst nightmare to go through a corner and see that all the brake marker boards have been taken out. But hopefully that won't be the case, and they can use those brake marker boards to get through each corner as they need to. But we've got a couple of seconds left. We're about to go towards the race for the formation lap, and then they'll line up on the grid for the start of the race.
I expect the pace to be somewhere in the 30 to 32 mark, 1 minute 30 to 1 minute 32 mark. We're seeing 1 minute 32s right now, but the fastest drivers have not been out on the track. I'm not exactly sure where they have their race set up done, but I believe at least in the 131s towards the beginning of the race. But I don't know if we're going to see qualifying pace at all the whole race.
No, I don't believe so. I think the sort of the track temperatures sort of mixed with other factors like tyre wear and fuel and boost modes as well. When they are in qualifying, they've obviously got their sort of Mercedes party mode. They've got their own special qualifying boost, which gives them that extra oomph, which if you use that in the race, you're immediately going to be putting your engine in some serious jeopardy, because it will most likely pop. So we're about to go to the formation lap now, which the drivers will be using to get heat into their tyres. We'll also be seeing who's on what compound, which will be the very interesting point, especially with the lower part of the group. We've got drivers like Evan Rice, who finished second in Australia, Sam Carpenter, who was up there. They're down in 17th and 18th position, which is they're fairly out of place, but we know that they'll be able to work their way up the grid. But we'll probably go with Craig Baxter in P1 on pole position. We'll watch him, I think, around his formation lap here at the Sakir circuit. Craig, he does like Bahrain a lot.
Yeah.
He does not shy away from the fact that he loves Bahrain, and he loves to win here as well. It's one of his favourite, I think. I'm pretty sure it is his favourite track out of the entire calendar. So this will mean the most to him to win this race. But we now got the drivers.
You have to admit, the track is a blast to drive. And for those of you who have not been able to get in there and have a look, fire up your favorite simulation and go have a blast. The nice part, though, about this particular mod and setup is stock setup. I mean, I jumped on the track with just a stock setup to see what would happen. A couple of tweaks here and there, and we were already at race pace. So if you want to try it out, please do. Of course, visit all of us at apexonlineracing.com to get all the details for this league and more. We run tons of stuff just about every day, and even just fun races through the Discord, which you can join at the website, of course. Follow us on Twitter, Apex on Racing, for the Twitter handle. We're actually just watching the whole field move through on a formation lap, get the tires a little bit heated up, make sure your brakes are heated up as much as you can. And these guys are just about halfway through that lap. I expect clean, but a real big shakeup at the very first corner here as the racers get underway.
I think that the top of the field will just be looking to get through this first sector, especially just to get through the first sector and to just settle into the rhythm, not have anything, no spanners in the works in terms of a spin or a collision with someone, getting a bit of damage. But if you want to tweet alongside with us, hashtag AOR Hype, brought to you by Hype Energy, of course. Fantastic partner. I definitely could be using a Hype Energy right now at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Easy.
But, they're going to be lining up for the grid. Craig Baxter from pole position will be a fantastic perspective to watch here, probably from the off-board camera. He'll be charging down towards turn 1. We've got the entire field. I believe we've got 22 cars racing today, which is a fantastic turnout for the second race of the season.
We had 28 cars for Australia, which was carnage. There was a lot of action on the track to follow. But tonight, still a full field at 22 cars. The lights should be coming on here any moment. Craig Baxter looks to lead us into the Bahrain Grand Prix, round 2 of the Hype Energy Formula 1 Championships here at AOR. Kieran Chadwick on inside of row 1. Scott Davis, Kean White, Brandon O'Hanlon, and Adam Cronin in 6th place. Daniel Cermak, 7th place. Callum Roberts, 8th place. And we are underway here as Craig Baxter leads us down into turn 1. A little bit of dicing there for 2nd place. Who's that on the inside? Looks like Chadwick will come out. Carnage in turn 1.
Yeah, I believe there was a spin there for Scott Davidson, who was in 3rd place on the grid. He's been turned around, I believe, by Kean White there. So that's not a good start there for Scott Davidson. So it's Craig Baxter from Kieran Chadwick, followed by Adam Cronin, who's made up a great few places there. He's in 3rd place. Adam Cronin there in the Drillers Motorsport car up into 3rd place. Fantastic start for them. But it's Craig Baxter who leads from Kieran Chadwick. He's looking to get a bit of a gap now to the car behind, and he'll be looking to maximise his first stint in terms of tyre wear.
Everybody being super careful as they go around the track. I'm watching right around 10th place or so. Sam Carpenter, big race coming into that hairpin there, turn 10. Kind of crazy in the backfield, I have to admit. Real clean, though. I saw a couple of instances where people were passing each other, and a couple of touches here and there, but it was more of a feel out. Oh, there's a guy there. Let me move out of the way. Very, very close racing, although Sam kind of just... That was a little bit questionable.
bit dicey between them, but Sam Carpenter started in 18th position in this race, and he's up to 9th, so that's a great start there for Sam Carpenter in 9th place. His teammates there in, I believe, 7th position, yes, Kean White in 7th, but we're going to have Craig Baxter.
Rice takes a spin, trying to come out of the last corner. That's actually very tough on cold tires. If you don't get that gear change just right, and you happen to be at full tilt, it will spin out on you, just a little bit of a step out, and it's gone. Gotta really be careful coming out
straight away. Straight away he's into the pits because of that tyre, the flat spots. Down in 21st position now for Evan Rice. A really unfortunate spin there has now led to his downfall. But we've got Max Shepherd, who was in 10th place at the start of the race, is now in 23rd, going onto the soft compound tyre. So
he was one of the guys who collected himself into that turn 1 carnage, so he had to stop for tires. So we'll be looking for him a little bit later on in the race as he moves up the order. Maybe try to stretch out those tires. I don't think this could. Most people could probably do this race in one stop.
We've got Scott Davidson, 19th position. Obviously had that spin at turn 1 involving, I believe, Kean White and Kieran Chadwick. He's going to be making his way up. He's got a big pace difference between the cars he's around. We've got Lasse Sorensen there getting out the way, and Scott's up into 18th position now, hunting down the cars in head. He's got Cermak in front of him. He'll be looking to just dice through the field as quick as possible here because he's got the pace on the cars in front of him, so he's got to use it to really get ahead, get into some clean air, and make sure these tyres don't get too much damage, I guess, to them, because he's got to try and maximise these stints now that he's so far behind his teammate.
Can't quite see what tyres he's on right now.
He's on the super soft tyres, I believe.
He's on super soft? Okay, yeah, he's probably a good idea to be on those as he goes underneath Cermak. Clean pass. Cermak wasn't quite sure if he was there, but kind of one of those things that happens. DRS has not been enabled yet, so
we've got a bit of a battle here for 10th position. Philip Krause in the Zesty Racing Machine is going up against Tommy Yelato in the Royal Blue Racing car. They're getting very close indeed, but it seems to be Philip Krause who comes out on top there as he heads up towards turn 4. The beautiful, beautiful orange and blue car now into some solid points-paying position, which is good to see.
I know you're a little biased. That's
a little.
But I have to admit that one of those cars is the one I pick when I go to to run the track.
That's very good.
And only because Ninja Labs is on the side.
Ah, yes.
And, you know, because NinjaRider. See,
Yes.
have to represent.
Sam Carpenter up into 8th position now.
Yes.
Up ahead of teammate, I believe. Oh no, sorry, my apologies. Kenyon White is up into 7th position, so I think there might have been a bit of a swap there. But we've got a battle for 5th place and 6th place. Callum Roberts up against, I believe it's Rick Van Dorn. Yep, it is indeed in the Corvus racing team machine. But it just seems to be settling into a bit of normality here. We've got Craig Baxter and Kieran Chadwick, 1st and 2nd place. They seem to be having a bit of a slipstream battle here. They're sort of weaving around the main straight, following each other. A bit of play fighting between the two of them. But I think Craig is really just saving fuel, as Bahrain is sort of very hard on the gas tank. So
especially coming out of these corners.
Especially, yeah, a lot of throttle application.
Throttle application and a lot of feathering of throttle, and the downshifts too. You have to be really careful to not over rev your engine, especially coming through this section that Craig's just went through. You know, you're at full tilt, 7th gear sometimes, and you got to drop it down to at least 5th. And if you're not careful, you know, it's really easy to over rev. As he makes his way through the very sharp hairpin down the back straight.
We've got a bit of a battle here. 7th place, Kenyon White is. Oh, there's a spinner. There's a spin ahead, which means I think that's Rick Van Dorn. That's actually. It was indeed. So that's a spin there for Rick Van Dorn, which means that Kenyon White's promoted to 6th place. He's now hunting down, I think that's Callum Roberts in front of him. It is. Oh. So if we go on board with Kenyon here, this could be a good chance to see him catch Callum Roberts, because Kenyon's going to have the pace difference, I believe, on Callum. So it's going to be a case of hunting him down. We're going to see a fantastic onboard view here of Kenyon White hunting down Callum Roberts using the speed of those super soft tyres. But we've got Kenyon there running wide, a little bit of a mistake there. We're putting him under pressure. The commentator's curse is really coming into play.
You're not on camera. It's okay. You're totally.
Yeah. You're the centre of the action at the moment, Kenyon. So make sure you don't spin and embarrass yourself, because it's very, very awkward. But
I think, at this point, because he made that mistake, he's had a couple of instances that might shake him up. He's got to take a couple of breaths, maybe take a half a lap or two, get the rhythm back, get things settled under him, and make sure that car's okay too. Doesn't look like there's any damage, but you never know. There might be just a slightly bent A-arm or something that could be throwing him off a touch. And
indeed,
you have to take a little bit of time to get used to that again. But he's looking pretty steady right now. He might have just gotten a little bit too throttle happy with it. Although that back end is stepping out a little bit, and that might just be a setup issue. But we'll have to keep an eye on him, as he is sitting comfortably now in 6th place and looking to challenge Callum Roberts here, possibly in a couple of laps.
We've got a bit of a battle here brewing. 2nd place, Kieran Chadwick. If we can go on board with Kieran, that'd be fantastic, as we've got him hunting down Craig Baxter. He was using DRS on the back straight there, which means he's within 1 second of Craig. So we could see a bit of a battle for the lead here brewing, especially with Kieran going to get DRS now on this main straight as well. So this could be getting quite close. Craig managing the gap, I would think. Maybe it might be Kieran showing some legitimate pace here, which could throw Craig off the scent. It could really surprise him. But here we go. Let's see if Kieran's going to have DRS.
Yep,
he does. He's got DRS, so he's going to be gaining now on Craig.
Just under a second behind Craig Baxter as they move into turn 1. Both of them.
Got a spin there. Spin 5th place. Brandon Othen. 6th place, maybe 7th place. Now he's falling down the grid. 9th place for Brandon. That was a spin at the final corner, which was. He's going to be eaten up here by. Oh, that was incredibly close there with Tommy Yelato almost firing into the back of him there.
Trying to keep an eye on the lead here. Chadwick hasn't really gained any time since they went through turn 1 on this particular lap, I should say. Craig Baxter must have saw him in the reviews, turned up the mix a little bit, so he's not saving so much fuel. Like you mentioned, you got to manage that gap. Although you want that to be above a second. Now Kieran should.
We've got another spin there. Asger Hebsgaard in 8th place, down to 9th now. He's spun in the fast section of the lap, and he's getting pressured by all sorts of cars behind him. As we've got another spin there with Brandon Othen. Another spin for him. He's had multiple collisions there with Brandon Othen and David Pruskowski, 15th and 16th place. That is absolute calamity for those two down there. And Evan Rice might be getting involved here, and he is. He's been hit by David Pruskowski. This is horrendous racing here between Pruskowski. He's hit about 4 cars in the space of 30 seconds. He's hit Evan Rice again. 17th place is an absolute minefield at the moment for Evan Rice. Getting damage, I would be absolutely certain of that. But he's up into 17th place. Pruskowski having a bit of a reckless race thus far.
Well, I mean, he was doing pretty good. A fairly solid run. You know, he's sitting there on the mediums. Looks like I see the white tires there. So yeah, he's on the mediums. He was having a fairly solid race. You know, just kind of doing his laps and doing his thing. Got involved a little bit. Now, I don't know if there was some lag involved, and that might have turned him around a little bit. And it looks like Hepsgaard is in the pits.
Yes, we got a bit of a battle for fourth.
Yeah, he's switching up to mediums. I think he's going to try to do this in one stop. Only 6 laps have elapsed of the 40 that is scheduled. Looks like a couple of other people in the pits. O'Henlin in the pits, and he was involved in that crash. Rick Van Dorn coming in.
Sorry to interrupt, but we've got a bit of a battle here for fourth. Kenyon White. We were saying a couple of laps ago about him closing in on Callum Roberts, and it's happening. He's closed right up to the back of Callum Roberts. If we're on board with Kean, we can see him working the wheel.
Oh man.
He's closed right up to the back of Callum Roberts. He definitely got DRS. Yep, certainly he's got DRS. He'll be looking now to potentially make a move, maybe into turn 1 with a bit of DRS now, and on the main straight into turn 1. But Kean's just going to make sure he manages those tyres, manages the dirty air, and just keeps the car on the track, because he seems to have an obvious pace difference, so that can work into his favour.
The other thing to note about that is Sam Carpenter, his teammate, is behind him, not necessarily closing. It looks like Kean has
placed 6th.
Definitely has the pace, and you just mentioned that Sam Carpenter from 18th place managed to make his way all the way up to 6th in 7 laps. He hasn't stalled out yet. I think it's time to save a little bit of fuel, make sure your tires are okay after such a run.
Let's see what Kean can do. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? No, he's not.
Not quite.
No, I don't think the move was on there. I think it was a good decision to keep out of it there. But he might be having a look. Maybe he might make an audacious move in Sector 2, maybe in the sweeping corners, which would be completely insane. But Kenyon White, known for making some insane moves in his time here in AOR, especially with one around the outside in Australia, which was sensational.
Yeah.
But he'll be closing the gap now on Callum Roberts again after maybe, I think, possibly a little bit of a mistake there from Ken in maybe the 2nd or 3rd corner here on this lap. Lap 8 of 40 here at Bahrain.
Gotta love Kenyon White. Got that back end just dancing around.
A real stylistic drive.
A little bit, yeah. The previous lap, he came through that corner that he just went through right now. A little bit sideways. A little bit of a rallycross action. You know, I would have thought he was driving some rear-wheel drive rally car in an Escort Mark II or something. Not some Formula 1 car that isn't designed for drifting. What are you doing, Kean?
Kean, defying laws of physics day by day. He's just he's really starting to put the blowtorch here on Callum Roberts. But let's see, we've got Craig and Kieran, P1 and 2. They're in the pits. Yep.
Time for that. See. Oh, we got a spinner.
We got a spin, do we?
Yeah.
There's Kenyon White's also coming to the pits, and Adam Cronin as well. So here comes. We're going to see Craig Baxter comes out on the medium tyres in 1st place. No, sorry, he's down into 2nd place. If we wanted to see off board, he's very close to Sam Carpenter and Philip Kraus there. But he comes out on the medium tyres, so a stop completed for Craig, and he's ahead of Sam Carpenter, who is one of his main rivals, as Sam's looking very racy here in 3rd place. Could he make a move on Craig Baxter up the inside into turn 4? No, he thinks better of it. He knows that Craig is getting those tyres up to temperature, and once the tyres are ready, they'll bolt off into the distance. But Sam's also on the mediums, and Philip Kraus is on the softs. So
I believe that Sam's
tyre strategies everywhere.
Sam started on the medium.
Yes.
He's not come in yet after, and like we mentioned before, he made that run. Oh, that was a little bit close there for Kraus. Managed just to catch it coming out of that corner. A couple of corners back, and he didn't lose too much time. I think good job by him to make sure he didn't spin out. But
that was
we were mentioning
management there from Craig to make sure he got out ahead of Sam Carpenter and Philip Kraus, because if he was stuck behind them, that would be a very hard pack to clear. So that was very, very good. He's put 2 cars now between himself and Chadwick, so that is going to be a very, very clever strategy play from Craig Baxter.
So Callum Roberts is out in the right now. He is on mediums as well. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he started on those mediums. So they're
mediums
probably showing a little bit of wear by now. And if I remember correctly, the mediums, under normal circumstances, under a normal driver who doesn't quite know what he's doing, will last about 12 laps, 14 maybe.
I believe I think he's on the softs.
That is yellow. Thank you, rFactor, for not loading the color properly.
Yes, the yellow marks soft tyres. That'll be a bit shorter of a lifespan than the medium tyres. So Craig is already closing the gap on him. So you'd expect either Callum to come in at the end of this lap and let Craig go through, or you might expect an on-track overtake between Craig and Callum, which old tyres versus new could be a very, very interesting mix.
Even though it's soft, mediums, softs do fall off after about, I want to say 70%. They want to start to lose a little bit of grip, and you can already see it. The car's beginning to dance around. He's having to manage the throttle and make sure it doesn't lock up any tire going into these sharper corners here at Bahrain. But Baxter, on those fresh mediums, he should be faster than Roberts. And Roberts, I don't know if it's time for him to come in quite yet. Maybe he needs to get a little bit more life out of those tires, just to make sure that he ends up in a decent spot for the end of the race. You got to think about that too, not just what's going on behind you currently.
Yeah, we've got Kieran Chadwick in 5th place. He's closing right to the back of Philip Krauss in the beautiful Zesty racing machine. This could be a bit of a move here. Well, he might fancy himself into the final corner. No, he thinks better of it. We've got Kieran Chadwick in 5th place. Might be looking to make a move. Nope, Philip Krauss is going to come into the pits now from 4th place, now down to 5th. He's going to. What can Philip do here, strategy-wise?
Krauss went into the pit.
Yep, we've got a bit of a side-by-side battle as well. I forgot to mention, out for the lead of the race, Craig Baxter is through, past Callum Roberts. So Callum now, I think the best of the tyres have been and gone. So it might be time for Callum to come in from P2 and maybe try something different with the strategy, as Craig Baxter is now back out into the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix on lap 11 of 40.
Want to thank Hype Energy, see them in the chat, for sponsoring and bringing us this F1 action here from AOR. We're at Bahrain in the night. Beautiful rendition of this track, I have to admit. A lot of times these night tracks really mess with your PC. It takes a lot of resources to make these things run properly, and this rendition, whoever made it, thumbs up and kudos, because my goodness, beautiful. And the FPS drop, just it almost isn't there. This is fantastic.
Well, obviously here at AOR we strive for the best, and we've gotten it. A fantastic track version. I was also going to mention, if you want to tweet along with us, hashtag AOR Hype. If you want to get involved in the conversation. Obviously a very tense race being built here, especially in the mid-pack. But let's see if Callum Roberts in 2nd place is going to peel into the bits. Yes, he is. In comes Callum Roberts from 2nd place. That's a very, very smart move there. So we're going to have Kieran Chadwick, who's in 3rd place, just behind Sam Carpenter. I think we should watch Kieran here in 3rd place, because he's definitely going to be wanting to have a look at making a move on Sam Carpenter. Sam, on the older medium tyres, he's been going for 12 laps now on those tyres. So I think there's a potential move being shaped up here with Kieran, obviously on the new mediums against the old. There's a definite pace difference, and Sam himself has admitted that he's been struggling this weekend with race pace. It hasn't been there. The setup hasn't been working, so he's a bit of a seam duck, I think.
He mentioned that in the Discord, if I'm not mistaken. He's just been having a couple issues here and there where the car wants to step out on him, and when he wasn't expecting it. And that is true. If you don't get the rear end set up exactly right, it's out of nowhere. It'll want to just step out and go. So he's going to have to be a little bit careful once Chadwick starts to catch up to him. But we've seen Sam race before, especially in Australia. He's clean as heck, man. When it's time for him to make a pass, it's clean. It's calm, cool, and collected. He doesn't really seem to let his emotion get involved too much. Hype Energy Drinks is in the chat. Look at that. Hey, all right. We're going to have to figure out how to get some of that stuff. Want to try it.
Oh, yes. Especially at, what is it? We're looking at 4:30 in the morning here in Australia.
Very good. Yes. Early morning rise.
Oh, it's
Or
fantastic,
wait.
fantastic.
You just flat out didn't sleep.
No, straight through the night. But yes, obviously we've got other partners as well. Elgato Gaming, they're fantastic hardware on offer there, as well as we've got Vitesse Design. Vitesse Design, who have designed majority of the liveries for this series. So if you like what you see, get in contact with them because they produce some fantastic products. Obviously, from everything from helmets to sim racing vehicles to real life vehicles. I think there was a partnership with a British Rallycross team that was announced in the past couple of days involving them. So it's fantastic to see them moving forward into the real world even.
That's actually quite awesome. Over the years of my simulation racing career, I've seen some fantastic liveries, ones that I wished were on real cars in a variety of different formats. And some of these liveries, I have to admit, are spectacular, not just in colors, but just the general design. They may seem simple, but a lot of times, the simplest of designs on such a complex car look the best. Vitesse Designs would be your source for that. Looks like we had a man off there.
Who we got?
That was right by Chadwick. I think he just made a mistake. One of the back markers, I believe it was Vincent Evers, who has been having a time. Fortunately,
bit of a tough time. Yeah.
2 laps down already.
Sam Carpenter.
He's blowing the car up.
Oh, has he?
I thought I saw smoke. That might have just been him on the side of the track. It's like he's
might have been a bit of tire smoke. Oh, he spun around. Vincent Evers in 22nd position there, trying to get out of the way. He's really seems to be struggling here, and Lassie Sorensen, we forgot to mention, is also out of the race. But it seems as though Vincent Evers is having a real tough time here. Is he going to try and get into the pit? He is, yep. But let's see, what have we got going up towards the front? I believe we've got a bit of a move shaping up potentially between, Kieran Chadwick in 3rd place is shaping up Sam Carpenter now. The gap has closed significantly since we were last with them. We're here. We're only on lap 14. We're not even halfway through the race, and the battle is so close between these two, especially. Sam, obviously yet to pit, but Kieran's been in for a new set of mediums, so he'll have an obvious pace difference over Sam Carpenter. So we'll be seeing if Kieran could potentially make a bit of an on-track manoeuvre here on Sam and get himself back into 2nd place, because Craig Baxter has disappeared up the road. There's quite a significant gap, maybe 5 or 6 seconds I'm almost going to say now. So what was 1 second has now become 6. So Craig has really started to put the throttle down and he's disappeared up the road.
Watching the race between 5th and 6th place, Adam Cronin and Ken White, not quite within a second. White being in 6th place right now. Not quite a second that he's made up on Cronin. So the DRS will not be enabled. He's going to have to work a little bit harder to get there now. White is on the mediums. Cronin.
We've actually the battle between the top two here.
Here we go.
Oh, as Sam comes into the pits, dives into the pits from 2nd. Kieran back up to 3rd. Back up into 2nd. Sorry, that was definitely going to be a pass on into turn 1. But Sam thought better of it. He said, "Let's just get out the way and get into the pits because that could have gotten really messy."
That was a fantastic idea by Sam Carpenter. Just jump in the pits right before you're going to get past. Try to make the tires last as long as they can. So that's 14 laps on the medium. And he's moving out. He's on the softs.
The more impressive thing is we've got Yelato in 3rd place. He is still on the mediums from the start of the race. He is yet to pit. I believe there's potential he started from the pit lane, but that might be just my imagination. He's going great guns there in 3rd place. Adam Cronin in 4th, who's a bit further behind, but Keen White is closing up on Adam Cronin now. In 5th place, here we go. This could be a bit of a battle brewing between these two. Cronin and White. Obviously the Brit versus the Irish.
Oh boy.
Bit of a Great Britain battle here. The United Kingdom going at it. Ken, has he got DRS? He does have DRS on Adam Cronin.
Yeah.
Philip Krause has jumped Sam Carpenter in the pits there, we can see. Sam Carpenter down in 7th place. Philip Krause in the beautiful Zesty racing car with up into 6th with a Hype Energy on the rear wing.
It's going to tickle me every time you say it.
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful car.
Yeah, I'm totally sure it is, Mr. Team Owner.
Yeah. I'm a bias, it's fine. It's fine, there's nothing to worry about. But we've got Tommy Yelato in 3rd place coming into the pits now, so that means that Adam Cronin will inherit 3rd place on the podium again. As we can see now, he's got a bit of a gap on Kenyon White, yep, Kenyon White is hunting. I don't think there's a better word to describe it, but he's hunting Adam Cronin down. He's looking very aggressive. But Adam Cronin has pitted for a set of softs and Kenyon's pitted for a set of mediums, so there's a bit of a pace difference between these two. As we can see, Kenyon is starting to really start to close up here on Adam Cronin, even though he's on a harder compounded tyre, which is incredible.
Well, you know, Kenyon able to control the throttle coming out of the corners fairly well. It's that entrance and the mid-corner speed that's so much different between the softs and mediums, and Kenyon is usually able to keep that mid-corner speed fairly high, and that's the only reason why he hasn't really dropped back on Cronin, where Cronin has all the grip in the world, pretty much, comparatively at least, and you can tell right there, White just got a little bit of a wiggle coming out of that corner. All these low-speed corners are going to be tough on those rear tires. He's going to be extremely close.
Yeah, Kenyon, he's a bit of an inexperienced driver when it comes to sim racing. He's still very young, so that's sort of the aggressive flair that comes with his driving. Obviously, with the experience, will be ironed out, become more refined, more experience, will make him more of a calmer and a lot more of I guess, a better driver. So that sort of that aggressive flair can be quite cool to watch, but it also can provide some mistakes occasionally. But he seems to be really close. Adam Cronin there, speaking of mistakes, a big slide there out of the final two corners. So now Kenyon White's definitely going to be setting up for a move with DRS now in the slipstream. Will he make a move into turn one? He's going to pull to the inside. Will Kenyon White make the move? He's alongside, he's ahead, and he's through up into third place onto the podium. He does run deep though. Could Adam Cronin come back? No. Shuts the door.
Maybe.
That's... Oh, but he's coming. Here he comes. More slipstream.
Gotta be really careful here. White needs to not defend too hard. He's on the inside. Here we go. White trying to hold the line. Cronin leaving a little bit of room. White being very respectful, allowing Cronin to make his way around the track. But oh, that was so close. They were wheel to wheel coming into that corner, and White manages to hold the line. And Cronin got a little bit flustered, but he had a huge run coming down that long backstretch.
That was very reminiscent of the 2014 Bahrain Grand Prix in real life, with Hamilton and Rosberg going side by side into that same corner, with Hamilton pushing Rosberg onto the curb, just like Kenyon did to Adam Cronin then, which got him the position. A solid and very fair battle there for third place, a very important battle obviously for a podium place. So that's great racing there from Kenyon White. Really been a star of the season thus far. Obviously made up those huge amount of positions in Australia. And he's putting a show on tonight here under the stars of Bahrain.
And you know what Kenyon reminds me of a little bit is it kind of not quite rookie, but definitely a younger Kimi Räikkönen in the way that he drives.
Well, there seems to be a very aggressive style. It's all or nothing. I think when it's Kenyon White, it's sort of you're going to go for glory or you're going to be in the wall. I think, and that's sort of. That's a very interesting way of going about it. Maybe he's had a few too many hype energy drinks. He's just sort of all over the shop. He's just buzzing about, off the walls.
A little twitchy on the right foot.
Very could be.
But now he's putting on a heck of a show, and he's managing to keep it clean too. And that's really all that we ask, at least in the commentary booth. You know, if you want to make it exciting, but keep it clean. We don't want anybody, crashing into each other, on purpose at least. It does happen from time to time. These guys aren't perfect. They are human, and this is simulation racing. There is sometimes lag that is involved.
We've got a bit of a battle here for 20th place. Sorry, there's a battle for Max Shepard, and I think it's Rick Van Dorn. Yeah, it is 19th and 20th place. Obviously not for points, but still a very close battle. Oh, Rick immediately ruins the battle by coming into the pits. Max Shepard up into 19th place. A very tough day at the office for Max Shepard here thus far. We are not even halfway through the race, but it seems to have shaped up as a very tough race. Speaking of tough, 17th place, Scott Davidson. Started on the second row. He's down in 17th place with really no one around him. It's sort of a very lonely race once you get spun around at turn one. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's going to be any points in sight here for Scott Davidson.
Well, he's running the mediums. He's trying to get some life out of the tires. Just stay out on the track for as long as he can. Trying to negate some of that time that he spent in the pits when he had to come in earlier. I think it was lap 2 or 3. He had to change those tires and possibly get a wing. I don't quite remember just the extent of the damage to his car. But, sometimes you just got to get out there and run the laps. And he's not a lap down. He's quite far behind, obviously. But
5th place here Philip Kraus and the Zesty Racing Machine is going to be going on Adam Cronin, who seems to be struggling up on the inside into turn 4. Adam's put in the same position as Kenyon did, but he thinks better of it, and that's Philip Kraus now up into 4th place. The beautiful orange car up. It's heading towards the podium, which would be very exciting. But we won't count our chickens before they hatch.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with Cronin. I mean, he's kind of fallen down the order quite a bit. I don't know if he's shaken up or those tires are getting a little bit worn out.
Well, here comes Sam Carpenter, who's on the exact same compound. So this could be very spicy indeed. Heading up into turn 11, but Sam obviously thinks very much better of it, because that could go very wrong very quickly if he got too excited there. But he's very, very close to Adam Cronin here, heading towards the second sector split. He's definitely going to be making a move, possibly into turn 1. It could even happen beforehand. It may happen into the final 2 corners here.
It's definitely possible, as Sam Carpenter looking to size up Adam Cronin, who is defending well, guarding that inside line. Now Carpenter will have the better line coming out of the corner. Oh, Cronin nearly spun it out. He's getting to dive into the pits. Yeah, those tires are...
They are absolutely shredded.
Not want to be the guy to take off those tires, and they are going to be hot tech.
Now, the real interesting thing here in Bahrain is the top 2 that we've really got, their teammates sort of nowhere really to be seen. Evan Rice is Kieran Chadwick's teammate in the KRT car. He's in 11th place, so he's on the cusp of points, but not quite. And we've got Scott Davison, who's Craig Baxter's teammate, in 17th position. So at the moment, the team that's going to come out with a lot of points is actually Sabre Racing yet again. So it's sort of really being the solid, just getting the results that they need. Nothing. There hasn't been a win. There's been a couple of, I think, a podium last time out in Australia. So picking up a couple of podiums, sort of like a Red Bull role, really. But it's sort of like if Bottas and Raikkonen weren't there, it's just Hamilton and Vettel carrying their respective teams. They're not going to get the points in comparison to a Verstappen and a Ricciardo going at it together. But
sometimes it just
lead, massive gap.
It just matters, at least for team points, when you're going for that. You got to make sure that your drivers are on the same page. You want to have a clean race, get up on the podium when you can, and just be in the points sometimes is the goal. And Sabre Racing understand that. They are more than happy with not necessarily going for wins if they know they don't have a chance. They want to put on a good show, and they're doing exactly what they need to do.
Yeah, so we've got not to get too excited, but Philip Kraus has closed the gap to Kenyon White quite significantly over these past couple of laps here. On lap 21, we're past halfway, so we're now into the phase 2, I guess, of the race, where things could get quite interesting, especially with the next round of pit stops coming up quite soon. But we've got Philip Kraus in 4th place, is closing up on Kenyon White in 3rd. Obviously, both of them made 1 stop each, with Sam Carpenter in 5th place, who's made up, I think that's 13 positions he's made up so far in this race. Nothing quite as large as his teammate did in Australia with 23. He's going to make up 10 more places, but it's an impressive race thus far from Sam Carpenter.
Just taking a look at Sam's car right now, it looks like it's in fairly good condition. He's not getting the car out. He's not spinning tire. Doing a really good job of just keeping the race clean. You know, sitting in 5th place, doing extremely well, things considered, obviously, and yeah, he's not allowing the car to dance around. He's having a fairly conservative race, possibly trying to just make sure that those tires don't get bubbled up. But Kraus is starting to close in on White.
Speaking of dancing, there was a fair bit of dancing happening there with Philip Kraus and the Zesty Racing Machine. He's getting all over the show, all over the back of Kenyon White. Let's see if Kenyon might dive into the pits here to try and extinguish any chance of a battle. But here we go. They're going to be going onto the main straight. Philip Kraus going to open the DRS wing. He's closing with great margin. He's going to make a move into turn 1 here for the podium. Philip Kraus down on the inside into turn 1. What a fantastic manoeuvre. Up into 3rd place. Geez, Kenyon White got incredibly close there, but it's going to be game over there for Kenyon White, and that's going to be Philip Kraus up into 3rd place, onto the podium. Zesty Racing. Oh, I'm getting incredibly excited here. This could be podium. This is unbelievable.
White had a little bit of a lockup going into that corner. He had to check up quite a bit as Kraus trying to not overheat his tires after such a maneuver, if you will, into turn 1. And White probably a little bit steamed, but he's on the mediums, and he's been out there for a little while. We have to assume that he's going to be coming in here in the next couple of laps for some tires, especially after... Oh, that big... Oh, my God! What are you doing, man?
Intra-team battle here, and Sam Carpenter moves up now into 4th place ahead of Kenyon. A mistake there. That aggressive nature, a bit hard on the right foot, a bit too many hype energy drinks, and he's spun up the rears, and it's cost him a place to his teammate, which you don't want to be beaten by your teammate, especially when he started in 18th position.
But White doing a fantastic job. He managed to keep the car on the track after making a couple of mistakes here and there. Has to make sure that he does not get tilted at all. He's doing a fantastic job sitting in 5th place now. Yeah, he's going to dive into the pits. That is a good move. The tires are just too far gone for him. Now
as he dives into the pits, Chadwick has just come out of a stop, and he's going to be right. Is he going to be in between Sam Carpenter and Philip Kraus? Sam versus Kieran, 3rd versus 4th. Sam Carpenter thinks better of it, and he backs out of the manoeuvre, and that means that Kieran Chadwick is now in 3rd place, and he's just behind Philip Kraus. So the top 2, Craig and Kieran, are just a country mile ahead of the rest in terms of pace, because Kieran's come out. He's an entire stop ahead of the rest, with Philip Kraus now just in front of Kieran Chadwick, even though Kieran has stopped twice.
He's just flying. Is he on reds?
He's on the super soft tyres, the softest compound available here at Bahrain. The Sakia International Circuit, under the lights and under the stars. It's going to be a fantastic evening of racing, or morning or afternoon, wherever you're from. But here at Bahrain, we're under the lights.
This move by Chadwick, put himself on the super softs. Make sure he has the best chance that he can of moving up the field. Chadwick doing a fantastic job. But he will have to stop again. I mean, I think he will. Yes, 6 or 7 laps.
The leader's in. Craig Baxter's in.
Oh.
So let's see if where Philip Kraus is going to come out. I think what Kieran was trying to do there was undercut Craig Baxter by using the super soft to put a really quick lap in. That was going to be a lot faster than Craig. But I think the fact he's come out behind Philip means that he wasn't able to maximise it. But here comes Kieran Chadwick in 3rd place. He's going to make a move on Philip Kraus, and he puts himself up now into 2nd position. Philip Kraus concedes to the fact that he's going to have to move out the way, because here comes Kieran Chadwick on the super soft tyres. He's now going to try and hunt down Craig Baxter, but there's a left car in between Craig and Kieran, as Craig is now also on the super soft tyres. So these two be looking at least another stop, maybe 2, potentially. It depends what tyres they're going to be going on. But Philip Kraus in 3rd place will be knowing that the pit stop will be coming for him very soon, as those medium tyres have gone for a substantial part of the race thus far. Sam Carpenter in 4th place in the Sabre car. He's got quite a bit of a gap there to Callum Roberts, who's in 5th place, followed by Tommy Yelato in the other Royal Blue car. So Royal Blue doing quite well in 5th and 6th, with Kenyon White in 7th. Cronin, who was mobbed by cars when he was on the podium, is down to 8th now after a 2nd stop. Evan Rice in the KRT, Kieran Chadwick's teammate, up into 9th place, and rounding out the top 10 it's Kevin Turner in the Thrive Esports Black variety in 10th place.
Look at that Thrive car. You know, I never took a look at that car. Oh, my goodness, that is beautiful.
Very, very beautiful car. The gradient there on the front of the car is beautiful.
Fantastic. So he is running the soft compounds in 10th place here. This is Kevin Turner, doing a fantastic job. He's had a little bit of a quiet race. I haven't really been paying attention too much to him, as a lot of racing happening towards the front of the field, but he has been sitting here doing his thing, sitting in the points too. And that's just a fantastic run for him.
Battle of the pits here, 3rd and 4th. We've got Philip Kraus in 3rd, Sam Carpenter in 4th. They're both coming into the pits. They're nose to tail in the pit lane. This could be a battle of the pit stops. Who's going to have the best pit crew to bring them out in front? They're going to be pulling up right behind each other. So they're both going to be lifted up. I believe so. And who's going to come out in front? It's going to be Philip Kraus is going to come out ahead of Sam Carpenter. I think he actually gained a bit of time there. They were very close to pit lane, but here comes Kenyon White and Adam Cronin. This could be very close between Philip Kraus and Adam Cronin. Cronin getting very close. Will he have the grip to get past? No! Philip Kraus just swooped around the outside. Fantastic move to keep himself in 6th position there.
Oh, that was close coming into that 1st and 2nd corner. We were both saying at the beginning of the race that was going to be a crucial part of the track. And who knew coming out of the pits like that was going to be so important. Putting Kraus now in 6th place. He was looking at a podium. Now, granted, still quite a bit of time left to make sure that happens. Kraus is probably going to have to come in again as he's on the mediums. I assume come in one more time, maybe throw on some super softs and put in a heck of a run.
We've actually just had some classic rFactor 2 desync here. Philip Kraus is up to 5th place after I think Kenyon White had a bit of a internet issue. So Philip Kraus up into 5th. Kenyon White, who put in some great laps to put himself ahead of his teammate, and Philip Kraus has now unfortunately lost out because of the World Wide Web to Philip Kraus. So he's down into 6th place, and there's a car backwards there. I think that's Vincent Evans, who had a torrid day of racing here in Bahrain. Kenyon, we're on board with Kenyon, I believe, and we're going to be seeing if he can put the blowtorch back on Philip Kraus for potentially get that 5th place back, sorry. But here comes, ooh, it looked like Philip was going to bait to the pits there, but he has just come in, so I don't know if Philip knew about that, but we've got cars weaving, following each other along the main straight, trying to get a bit of slipstream off each other. Fantastic to see. We've got the Royal Blue cars in 3rd and 4th, which is fantastic to see. Sam Carpenter getting a bit of out of shape there, is he? In 7th place.
No, actually, no. He just passed Cronin.
Ahead of Cronin,
turn 1. Yeah, fantastic run there down the front straight for Carpenter. Manages to work his way past Adam Cronin, who is also having a little bit of a rough time here in this part of the race. You mentioned the second part of this race being so important. This is why, if you haven't conserved your tires, you're going to start having some issues coming into here and coming up onto the last pit stop if you need to make one.
Fuel will also play a part, as some people would have been pushing in the first stint and haven't been saving fuel. So now they've got to save fuel, or else they're going to really risk losing out big time in terms of fuel. They might run out of fuel, and that would add some real drama to the end of the race. I'm hoping that Philip Kraus has saved enough fuel, or else it'll be a heartbreaking result for the team. But not being biased, of course, but we'll focus on someone else. Let's see if there's a battle for the lead. No, Craig Baxter's he's got a gap really. He's pulling out. He's showing why he is the king of Bahrain. He's just got an absolute country mile over Kieran Chadwick. He's really used the traffic around him to his advantage. Obviously, with him going through now turns 5 and 6, Kieran's just coming through turn 4 now, so he's got a bit of a gap to the cars ahead, which means that he can really breathe easy and know that he doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have to push too hard. He can save the tyres, get to the end, save the fuel, and win the race.
Baxter
got a bit of...
Oh
no!
Uh-oh, what happened?
We've got a bit of desync there. Philip Kraus into 6th place now. Was in 4th, but now he's lagged behind. The World Wide Web strikes yet again. We've got him down into 6th place. He was in 4th. The Sabre cars now jump him thanks to the internet, really. There's no other way of saying it.
It does happen from time to time. Again, this is simulation racing, and with the server being in one spot and everybody else all over the world, not really much you can do about it either. Oh,
we got the Sabres car 4th and 5th here. Is getting very intense. Maybe we can go on board with Sam Carpenter in 5th place. We could see if he could make a move. See maybe the inputs that the driver will be making. He's getting incredibly close to his teammate. Let's see if he can make a move. He won't be making a move on this section of the lap, I wouldn't think, because it's just too dangerous to try and make a move here because of how sweeping and how fast the corners are. But definitely into turn 1 would be a potential place that he could make an overtake, as the cars will be using DRS. Sam will definitely have DRS, and Kenyon won't, as there's no cars in front of him for him to pick up DRS, but Sam getting very close here through the penultimate and the final 2 corners. Let's see if he can get a good exit now and be all over the back of Kenyon. They seem to be getting very close. Sam Carpenter activates DRS, flying down the main straight now down towards turn 1. Kenyon moves to the inside. Will Sam try and make a move around the outside into turn 1? He brakes later than Kenyon. He's going to be ahead by a nose whip. Are they going to make... They've made contact. He's pushed Sam wide. Sam, though, keeps the position, and they've made contact even more. Rubbin's racing it here between the 2 Sabre cars, 4th and 5th, going at each other. And here comes Kenyon again. He's not going to be giving up without a fight through turn 4. They're going to go side by side. Sam gives him the switchback, and he's going to be moving back up into 4th place. Sam Carpenter up into 4th place. What a manoeuvre there on Kenyon White, but Kenyon's still not giving up. Here comes Philip Kraus, so he's going to get himself involved as well.
Kraus is looking, just lurking, seeing if White will make a mistake, possibly take advantage of the fact that the teammates are racing each other quite hard. You have to admit, they're probably laughing at each other, or with each other, if you will, as Carpenter and White really putting the screws to each other. White will have the DRS advantage at this point. He's a little bit too far back to take advantage of it, though. Although, with his Kimi Räikkönen Wildman style, who knows what'll happen. but Carpenter, calm, cool, and collected, is able to make that pass, coming down that front straight and into turn 1. The tides have turned a little bit against him now as his teammate lurking behind him, gaining a little bit of time using the slipstream. So we move up into final corner now through the front stretch.
There will definitely be damage on both of those Sabre cars. That they will make contact through turn 1 and 2, and even I think into 3 as well. So Philip Krass will probably know that they've made contact, so he's got to just keep. You've got to think about the fact that here we go again. Sam Carpenter's going to try and defend the inside. Can Ken White go round the outside through turn 1? No, he runs right off the track.
Oh,
Sam Carpenter knows how to defend, and that is a prime example of it. But here comes Philip Kraus in 6th place. He's going to be making a move here on Ken White. Is he going to be up? He's going to try and go around the outside into turn 4. Will he do it? No, he's going to try and make the switchback like Sam did, but it's going to be incredibly close between the two of them. And I think that's going to be, that's going to be the battle over for this part of the lap, as we're going to be going through the sweeping section. There's no chance that you'll be making an overtake there if you've got any clue of what you're doing when it comes to racing. But these three, the real battle pack of the race, Carpenter, White and Kraus, 4th, 5th and 6th, is incredibly close. But Yalato, in 3rd place, has still going on the medium tyres.
Oh. I would love to see his tire stats right now.
Oh, it would be all types of red, I think, on the old damage wear. But back to the battle for 6th, 5th and 4th place. Carpenter, White and Kraus. We're coming back onto the main straight, so this is where it all kicks off previously. So let's see if Philip Kraus, let's see if we can go on board with Philip Kraus and see if he can make a move for 5th place on Kenyon White. We're going to be coming through the final 2 corners now, through the penultimate corner and now through the final corner. Let's see if he gets a good enough exit, if he can make a move here with DRS. Keen's also going to DRS on his teammate, so he's going to be having, I guess, the fact of the DRS has been negated. But let's see if he can get some additional slipstream. Will Kraus make a move down on the inside? No, but it seems as though that White is very close to his teammate. Let's see if he can get a good run and a good slipstream up towards turn 4. That could be a potential overtaking move. See if Keen can put his teammate back out on the curbs like what Sam did to him a few laps ago.
Yeah, friendly maneuvers, of course.
Friendly maneuvers. Maybe some heated words that exchange between
jostling,
them. But,
friendly jostling. They were elbowing each other. No big deal. They obviously weren't trying to take each other out. So, stewards, don't get in a huff. It's okay. Everything's fine. That said, I mean, it's super close racing here. Kraus really starting to lurk. Oh my God, is he gonna catch him in this corner?
Oh my God, big slide through
Kraus with the letterbox open, gonna try to drag race him down, but White got a huge run coming out of that corner. Now Kraus has to sort of concede a little bit. He's gonna have to back off just a touch, make sure he has the aerodynamic advantage as he moves into these sweeper corners. Nice long couple of corners through here and up and over the hill. You got to be very careful and onto this very fast corner, or fast straightaway I should say. Kraus looking to get White set up here for the penultimate corner and that final corner for the run onto the main straight. Kraus braking late, very close to White. The letterbox will open. This is going to be insane. Kraus waiting for
the move before DRS is activated.
Now the straight up NASCAR style drafting as he runs way inside and motors all the way around White, splitting the 2 Sabre cars.
That's a fantastic move there from Philip Kraus, if I do say so, with no bias whatsoever. But it was a great move to put himself up into 4th. Now he's got to see if he can hunt down Sam Carpenter and get himself back onto the podium. Sam, who started in 18th, is now in a podium position. So 15 places made up by Sam is a fantastic result in itself here on lap 31 of the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Yeah, Carpenter has had to put in some monumental runs in these first 2 races of the inaugural Hype Energy F1 World Champions here at AOR. That rolls off the tongue nicely. I'm gonna have to talk to somebody and have us call it that.
It's beautiful. Obviously,
thanks to
Hype Energy, fantastic brand. But Craig Baxter has now started lap 32 of 40. He's got a fair old gap. He's an entire straight ahead of Kieran Chadwick. So, and as Kieran Chadwick comes into the pits,
speaking of which.
Here we go, in 2nd place, Kieran Chadwick. This might be trying the same move he did before with a bit of an undercut, potentially. I don't think he can undercut Craig by about 15 seconds, but we'll see what he can do. We'll see, he's going to come in, I would assume, maybe for a set of super soft tyres to get him to the line. We've got 9 laps left here of the Bahrain Grand Prix. And he is. He's on the super softs for a final little dash to the line. But here comes Philip Kraus in 4th place on Sam Carpenter. They're fighting ahead. Here comes Sam. He's going to go back down the inside on Philip Kraus. This is fantastic jostling here for the podium place. On the 3rd place, here we go. Philip Kraus all over the back of Sam Carpenter. He was briefly ahead, but here we go, up towards turn 4. Can Sam defend the position? Here goes Philip Kraus down on the inside. Sam going to try and make the switch back. Is he going to get the traction to get ahead? No, he's not. That's going to be Philip Kraus up into 3rd place. The Zesty Racing Machine up onto the podium alongside Kieran Chapwick and Craig Baxter. And Sam's going to go down on the inside into turn 9. What a manoeuvre from Sam. That was a fantastic dive, Bob. And that was completely unexpected, I think, from Philip. But Philip's now looking incredibly racy. Let's see who's got the DRS, because I think the section point was a bit before. So I think, yep, Philip Kraus, though, has still got DRS, and he's going to be hunting down Sam Carpenter. Craig Baxter in the lead has come into the pits, but we've got the battle for the final podium position between Philip Kraus and Sam Carpenter brewing. And we're going to make our way up the hill towards the penultimate few corners of the lap, and then onto the main straight, which has provided so many overtaking manoeuvres thus far in this race. It could provide another one for Philip Kraus to get himself solidly onto the podium.
Kraus is lurking. He did fall behind there in that last sequence of corners, but Kraus is starting to close up the gap a little bit. DRS should be enabled for him.
I think he's close enough to make a move here into turn 1.
Yeah, it's on. I don't know if, like you mentioned, though, I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to make a move as Carpenter defends well, just moves down to protect his line. Kraus looking for the over-under, not going to work in that corner, a little bit too slow for that to happen, as Kraus is still working behind Carpenter.
He's got the slipstream now, which is a good thing, especially out of this corner up towards turn 4. Sam's going to go to the inside. Philip's going to go to the outside. Will he be able to make the move around the outside? No, but he might be able to get. No, he's overheated the tyres there and run wide. So Sam Carpenter keeps the podium place for now, but I don't think this battle is over. And I think that this battle will continue through through probably their last pit stop, which I think will either be coming this lap or maybe the next lap, because I don't think the mediums are going to get them to the end of the race.
No, yeah, I don't think so either. With 8 laps to go, 7 laps to go technically, they're probably, more than likely, are going to have to run onto the super softs. They might as well, with all this craziness going on in front of them and twixt them. Speaking of super softs, Chadwick, he's on him. So was Baxter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, both the front rows are on the super soft tyre. Ooh. Kieran Chapwick there in 2nd place almost ran off the track. Must be getting a bit bored in 2nd place. He's a bit alone, but here we go. The battle between Sam and Kieran, Sam and Philip,
there's a car
3rd and 4th. The lap car there just needs to get out of the way quick smart, because they're causing more problems. But here comes Sam Carpenter and Philip Kraus, 3rd and 4th position. Philip's got the DRS, but I don't think it's going to have any sort of effect, as Philip was a bit further back than normal. So let's see if he can get a good run out of turn 2 and turn 3 and potentially make a move into turn 4, but Philip seems to be sliding about all over the place now, so maybe those medium tyres are starting to go off the cliff a little bit. Sam also will have to be managing those tyres as well, I would be sure.
Starting to go into the closing part of this race, and I imagine 3rd, 4th, 5th, Tommy Latello in 6th. See what he's on. He might... No, he's definitely going to have to pit again, I believe, unless he really runs those rubbers down to the rim. But Callum in 7th place, doing well. He's on mediums. He's starting to dance around a little bit, though. So potentially there for some super softs on the reds. Noah Chilla sitting in 8th place, having a great run. He's on mediums as well. The fantastic-looking red, black, and light yellow car there. I'm not quite sure what he's on. BSR. Painted all over the side of that car, but Adam Cronin, we were talking about earlier, has found himself in 9th place.
The battle for 3rd is heating up though here. Sorry to interrupt, but
no.
Philip is incredibly close to Sam Carpenter as they come through the final corner now. Let's see if Sam will dive into the pits and throw a spanner into the works.
Nope.
No, they're going to be going onto the main straight. Philip Kraus now will activate DRS, close up the gap. I think he'll make a move into turn 1 here. He seems to be like he'll be close enough. Sam's going to defend the inside. Philip knows, I'm going to go to the outside. I'm going to try and get the undercut here on Sam Carpenter, get the good traction out and slipstream his way up towards turn 4. He's all over the back of Sam Carpenter. I think it was a bit of a slide there out of turn 3 for Philip Kraus. So I don't think he's going to be close enough now to make a move. Sam will know that as well. So Sam's just got to keep himself settled, but he seems to be running quite deep. So does Philip. They were all over the place, but we've got Chiller, who is now into the pits from 10th place. But the battle, I'm going to be honest, I'm slightly concerned about the Royal Blue cars. They seem to be in flying formation on a charge towards the podium. 6th and the 7th, they're closing up to the 3rd, 4th and 5th positions quite rapidly. But Philip Kraus in 4th place, if we go on board with him, he's got DRS on the back straight with Sam Carpenter. Let's see if he can close that position and get ahead of Sam. They've been exchanging positions now for the past probably 5 laps, but it just hasn't seemed to have made the move stick.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why everybody else behind him is starting to catch up to him. Is they've been swapping positions like crazy. They're racing hard. Trust me, awesome to see. And did I see Chadwick?
I think Chadwick is just in front of them, but he's obviously on the super soft, so he's on a brand new tyre. So I don't think he'll be too worried about it. But we've got Craig Baxter coming up to lap cars. His teammate. He's about to lap his teammate Scott Davison, who's Craig Baxter, obviously in 1st place. But let's see, Phil Kraus just isn't close enough in 4th place to make a move into turn 1. Let's see if he can get a good run though. Let's see if we can go on board with Philip Kraus in 4th place to see if he can get a good run visually coming out of turn 3, and just doesn't seem to be. I think those tyres are starting to reach the point of no return in terms of grip. So maybe 4th place might be the best that Philip can hope for today, unless both Sam and Philip and even Kenyon drive into the pits as well. But that's going to open up Yelato and Roberts to snatch 3rd and 4th respectively.
So chat is telling us that Kraus is trying to do a 2-stop setup.
Okay, that would matter. I think at the point we're on lap 36 of 40, I don't think anyone else is going to be pitting unless there's some damage. So I think they've just got to try and manage these tyres as much as possible, because if we have a situation where you're going to be on the last lap and your tyres might explode, that's going to throw your race completely out the window. All 39 laps of glorious racing to fail on the final one is incredibly disappointing. But Philip Kraus is all over the back of Sam Carpenter. Now this could be the position swap that we were looking for. Both on the medium tyres. Both have gone quite a long time on these tyres. And we can see that Kenyon White has really dropped off the back of these two. It seems as though that Philip and Sam have ascended to another level here when it comes to battle wheel-to-wheel combat. But here comes Philip Kraus in 4th place, all over the back of Sam Carpenter with the DRS open. Yet again, he's going down the main straight. Sam defends the inside. There's nothing new there, but let's see if Philip Kraus can go around the outside of Sam Carpenter through. He's going to be trying to make the move. They're going to be very close together. So close. We're hearing there was contact between the two, but here comes Philip Kraus again into turn 4. He's going to go to the inside. Sam Carpenter, though, wasn't expecting it. They're going to be incredibly close. Will Philip have the traction out of turn 4? No, it's just going to be Sam who's going to hold on yet again between these two. Incredible racing between these two.
There was a touch of contact, but nothing too crazy. Doesn't look like there was a ton of damage or anything like that. Now Carpenter ran wide coming out of turn 5, I believe that was, whereas Kraus tried to keep it tight, but when he got on the gas, the tires spun up and he couldn't get any grip really to make the pass. But DRS is enabled again coming down the second part of this course. Another big braking zone here. He might be able to close up a little bit more and set himself up for a run down the front stretch. Now with the time is starting to wind down. Just about 3 laps left in this race. Kraus has to be sure that he does not cook his tires, while at the same time forcing Carpenter to possibly mess up his tires in his defense of 3rd place. Yes, that's right, everybody. These guys are battling for a podium spot. Chadwick way out ahead. Actually, no, he's only about 4 seconds ahead.
Yeah, the gap has come down significantly since Kieran Chadwick pitted for those brand new Supersofts. So maybe they're not working. Maybe something's going wrong. Maybe he's just managing the gap and playing a bit of mind games with the cars behind him, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to go with mind games. Yeah, and I'm going to go with saving fuel and making sure that those tires are primed and ready to go for the last couple of laps, just to be sure. You might as well. He's probably realized he's not going to catch Craig Baxter, who is on a tear this whole race.
Craig Baxter he's heading up towards turn 11, and Kieran's just going through turn 8.
Yeah, so he's way ahead. There's no point. Yeah. So you might as well save the tires. He's on the super soft in case he has to defend himself. He can probably crank up the mix and take off. So no worries there for Chadwick. He's feeling comfortable in second place, I'm sure. But Carpenter and Kraus fighting tooth and nail for this third position. But Kraus has fallen back. The DRS... Oh, it did come on. Okay, good.
And we've got a spin there for Kenyon White in 5th place.
Oh.
I think those tyres have well and truly fallen off the cliff. I think he's sliding all over the place. I think defending hard and attacking his teammate there a few laps ago has really taken the life out of his medium tyres, and he seems to be really struggling now in 5th place. But he's got Yalato all over the back of him. This could be a change of position here. Kenyon White may have made a grave mistake here, as Yalato is looking for that 5th place. Maybe it'll be his best result of the season, I'm pretty sure, but a lap car may get involved. There's Kenyon White all over the place. He's going to defend the inside, darting all over the place. Here comes Yalato in 6th. Let's see if he can make a move into the final penultimate corners. I don't think so. That'd be a bit foolish to do, knowing that he'll have DRS now along this main straight into turn 1 with a struggling Kenyon White all over the place. Let's see, here comes Yalato. He's going to be with the DRS. He's going to come to probably the outside. Yep, he's going to pull to the outside as Ken is on the inside. Let's see if he's ahead before the braking zone.
He's ahead.
They're side by side though. Here comes Yalato. They've made contact. They made contact there. I think Yalato was squeezed into a point of no return there by Kenyon White. So Kenyon White now down to 6th place, relegated down the order. He's got to watch out for Callum Roberts, but he's going to go on the offensive down on the inside.
He washed out.
Racing. This is getting a bit out of hand here between Kenyon White and Yalato. He's made a fair bit of contact, Ken. He must have some reinforced carbon fibre on that Sabre car, because he's made a fair few bumps in this race today.
Clearly, this Sabre is to a knife's edge, because, let's face it, Litalo has had his hands full dealing with Kenyon White. But Tommy was... Oh, White... obviously playing a little bit too much Forza, because he just drifted around that corner completely, lost all his momentum, and Litalo makes the pass. This one's going to stick for sure, as Kenyon White is pretty much fried his tires, and he's struggling hard. But we're coming up here on just about the last lap.
Yep, we're on the last lap. Craig Baxter's going through turn 4. It's been an absolutely dominant display from Craig Baxter from start to finish. I'm pretty sure he's led every lap, maybe, but maybe there might have been a couple there in the pit stop phases. He's lapped his teammate, who obviously has had a tough day at the office, but Defiance here are showing that they are here to play. They are showing why they are considered the leading cars, the Mercedes of AOR, rFactor 2, Hype Energy of the championship. Really, it's just been a sensational display from Craig Baxter, who's is he weaving on the back straight. He's getting the celebrations going a bit early. I think he's trying to break the slipstream. I actually think he's breaking the slipstream of the car behind, so his teammate can get ahead of that car. And he's a team player, obviously. So
that works.
A tough result in Australia with 10th place, but he's bounced back here in the best way possible after being taken out in Australia there in dramatic circumstances.
Yeah.
He's going to come through the final couple of corners here.
Third place, Kraus is closed up on Carpenter again. Might have... Kraus dives to the inside!
Here comes Craig Baxter in the lead. He's going to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. That's the win for Craig Baxter. A sensational result. Let's go down to Kieran Chadwick in P2. He's a long way behind, but it seems as though that it's going to be a fairly good day for the Australian Grand Prix winner, P2. So obviously I believe he'll be leading the championship still even after this race, so that's a fantastic result. Kieran Chadwick comes home for 2nd place here at the Bahrain Grand Prix, a fantastic drive for him. But Sam Carpenter's going to come home for 3rd, a podium from 18th on the grid, and the beautiful Zesty racing car comes home in 4th place. That's a fantastic result. We've got Yalato coming home in 5th place for Royal Blue Racing. I think that's his best result of the season thus far. So he's going to come home, and Callum Roberts has got ahead of Kenyon White. So Kenyon from what was 5th now down to 7th. A horrendous end to the race there, and he was definitely struggling with a lot of tyre wear down at the end. But here comes Adam Cronin. Was in a podium place. He now finishes in 8th position. Here comes Evan Rice in the KRT in 9th place, and finishing the top 10, Noah Chiller. A fantastic result for him in 10th place in the Visceral Sim Racing team. We've got the rest of the cars coming through. Kermick, Prskowski, Lalou, Turner, and Scott Davison is retired. So 14 finishes here at the Bahrain Grand Prix, with Craig Baxter winning the race. Let's see if he's doing some donuts. Is he? No, he's back in the box, I believe. I know he's going through the turn 11 now. If we want to go on board, let's see if he might do some donuts here. But yeah, it's a sensational result for them for Defiance, getting a win on the board, and a great race for Kieran Chadwick to maintain the championship lead heading into Baku in round 3.
Gonna have to give massive props to Keen White when he raced his heart out. The young man doing a fantastic job. He got a little bit aggressive here and there as Baxter goes in. Possible donuts.
Party mode engaged. Party mode engaged certainly for Craig Baxter. Fantastic win. First of the season, obviously, as we were saying, which goes with his 1 point that he got in Australia. So 26 points for Craig Baxter now, which I would think would put him in pretty high up in the championship. A win always helps putting yourself very high up in the championship. But let's see if we can potentially get some interviewees.
See what we can do. And so, Zach, what do you think, man? Driver of the race?
Probably would say Sam Carpenter from 18th position. I think it's just to get onto the podium and fight your teammate and Philip so hard is incredible. So I think I definitely would say that he'd be the driver of the race.
I would have to agree. Just because of that crazy fight that he had such a crazy lap 1. Managing to not wreck, not run into anybody, had great racing, and puts it on the podium, man.
Rightio, I think we're going to be able to talk to Craig Baxter here now. Let's see if we can get him. Are you there, Craig? Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Craig's here. Well done, fantastic win, especially bouncing back after a tough Australian GP. How does it feel to get a win on the board?
Relief more than anything, to be honest. I don't know what happened to Kieran at the end. I don't know if he was too much on fuel or had a spin or whatever, but the gap almost doubled, and then the last stint it was just cruise home.
Yeah, we definitely saw that seemed to be the case as Kieran was dropping off almost into the clutches of the battle with the Sabres and the Zesty Racing car of Philip Kraus. So we don't know what happened there. I think it was. I would assume it would be fuel, but it put you in a good position. What about your teammate though? It seemed to have had a difficult race.
Well, into turn 1, I got a really good start. Kieran got a bad start, so I was kind of really safe into turn 1. Left a lot of space on the inside, and then all of a sudden in my mirror, I seen Scott was ahead, and then all of a sudden he was sideways, and then there was multiple cars. So I don't really know what happened, but I know there was like a 3-way crash into turn 1. So he was basically trying to come back there, but disappointed he didn't get any points.
Anything you want to ask Curtis?
The end run there, did you end up having to save a lot of fuel? It looked like you had to back off a little bit, but
I
backed off a ton.
I actually finished with 6 liters left, so I basically just I used mix 5 I think once the entire race. I didn't need to go any harder basically.
The mix 5, for those who don't know, that's the highest mix that's programmed into the car. And if you do use it a little bit too much, and I did this in practice because I know it, that's how I know this. About 2 laps, it blows your car up. So
that's qualifying mode. It's,
right, yeah.
You've got qualifying mode and fuel mixture. The fuel mixture is like to save fuel, and it also gives you like a little horsepower boost. Quali mode only gets used in qualifying.
So you have to be very careful with your fuel mix, obviously. Tire strategy, how long were you out there on your reds? I believe it was at the end there. I mean, you were a good 6-7 laps?
I went 8, 15... 8:15, 8:8 or something like that, but roughly like that.
And the tires had to have been gone.
They actually weren't that bad. I could probably have extended the first stint and the last stint an extra lap. But if I did try that, I would have been sliding all over the place.
Well, all right.
There we go. And one last question. Obviously, the next round is Baku in Azerbaijan. What do you think you can do there in what is a very tight and fast street circuit?
It's a fun track. Had a good battle with Sam in F2, so I mean, I plan to do as well as I can, but I've not got a lot of practice for the track, so I'm just gonna see. Hopefully, I can get a top 3 though. Well,
well done on the race win. We'll see who else we can find. let's see. We got we might grab Sam Carpenter, the third place finisher in today's race. See if he's I'll just check if he's ready for an interview. He's not mid-sentence.
See how that goes, guys. In the chat, thank you for joining us. Obviously, we're gonna try to get a couple of interviews here from the drivers themselves. As
he's ready.
ZestyOranges is using his using his connections within the AOR community, of course.
You there, Sam?
Hello.
Yes, Sam. Well, a fantastic race there. Was it P18 to third?
Yeah, it was. I think it was 17th because Philip ended up starting at the back. But yeah,
I'm
really happy with that, especially after turn 1.
A lot of positions made up, especially in that first lap, as you said. What was the key to keeping both your teammate and Philip behind, especially in the closing stages of the race?
Well, I don't know. I did feel happy with the car. I did a lot of race stint practice as well, because obviously I knew before this race that I'd be starting at the back of the grid, or at least somewhere near the back. So I didn't focus on doing qualifying lap time. So I had the time to get a car that I could chuck into corners and dive up the inside, etc., for the race.
And was there a bit of contact there between your teammate? At one point we saw, I think, to turn 2 and 3, there seemed to be quite a bit of rubbins racing.
Yeah, it was into turn 1. There was a bit of contact into turn 1, and I basically said, like, what are you doing? So he backed off a little bit. Well, I say he backed off into turn 4, I think it was. He went up the inside and I got the switch back. But yeah, it's all a bit of fun.
It looked like you guys were having a blast out there. Was there any point during that last stint where you felt like you pushed a little bit too hard?
Yeah, I wanted to sort of peg it back a little bit and go slower and sort of cruise to the end, because we all went onto mediums pretty early, and I wanted to make them last and actually get to the end with some tyre wear remaining. Mm-hmm. But Philip was right behind me and he didn't do that, so I had to just keep going, keep pushing, and eventually all of us were just falling off the cliff at the end. So it was basically a couple of laps.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. It had to have been pretty slick out there. Some people are spinning tire coming out of corners quite a bit. I mean, we saw Kenyon actually nearly loop it coming out of that just before the second DRS zone. Yeah. So I would imagine it was a little bit hairy for a bit.
At that point, I think he said that he was struggling with pace, and I just said, don't hold me up, because I was catching up to Philip, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a bit of a moment, but then, didn't challenge me after that, so yeah.
And what about Kieran Chadwick there? Seemed to have slowed down quite a bit at the end of the race there. Were you almost thinking it was possible?
Yeah. We were all chatting in the Discord channel, and we all saw that Kieran was falling off, like he was falling way back from Craig. So I tried to push as much as I could, but I was already pushing quite a lot, and the pace difference was maybe about half a second a lap, even though Kieran, I think, was saving fuel. But yeah, didn't really make much difference.
And obviously Baku is the next race. Craig was just saying about how you had a fantastic battle with him in F2. What's your expectations heading to Azerbaijan?
I don't really know. I'm going to probably focus on race practice again, because that really worked this time around, and it always seems to work when I focus more on the race. So I guess I'll find out as we do more practice and see kind of what the pecking order is, but I think just podium.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. We'll move you back, and we'll see if we can grab someone else. Maybe Philip Kraus, who was I believe he went from last all the way to 4th. So let's just see if he's. Yep. Okay, here we go. He's coming in now. Philip, are you there?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Philip. Well, a fantastic result. Good job from the team boss, obviously. Last to 4th. How was it dicing through the field there?
Honestly, it didn't feel like I was dicing through the field that quickly, but next thing you know, I'm in like 7th because everyone's spinning off. And then the last few positions I actually made up near the end. And battle with Sam. That was fun.
There was an intense battle with Sam Carpenter, but also before that, the two Sabre cars in front of you were colliding and dicing into each other. What was going through your mind when you saw those two hitting each other into turn 1?
What are they doing as teammates? Honestly.
Yep. Yeah.
Number one rule of racing: don't hit your teammate.
Yeah. Exactly. There's were you thinking possibly that they might have just cleared the way for you to slot yourself into P3 outright?
I was waiting for it, but it never really materialized. I couldn't get close enough, even when they were battling.
Well, yeah, it was a fantastic result to go up from last, obviously, to P4. Curtis, do you have anything to ask Philip?
I think he pretty much just answered my question. It was all right.
It was all right. It was a beautiful car and a beautiful track and a beautiful result. But yeah, so thank you very much,
boss,
Philip.
be biased.
No, it's fine. But yeah, well, there we go. I think I'll leave you to do the outro and thank everyone.
Speaking of everyone, I want to thank everybody for coming in for the interview. It's a fantastic way to end this stream. Great race, Zach. I mean, that one, I have to admit, topped Australia as far as the excitement and the hype surrounding some of this racing, especially towards the end there. We had some close contact. Didn't look like there was anything outright, malicious in any sort of contact that did end up happening. Couple of incidences here and there that may need to be reviewed a little bit, but you know what? All in all, a very, very clean race. And for an online format, that is so hard to do. So kudos to the drivers for keeping everything extremely civil. I have to admit, I loved every minute of it.
I feel as though that the third, fourth, and fifth there really made the race so special. Obviously, first and second were separated by quite some margin, and they were quite far ahead of the rest of the field. But third, fourth, and fifth, pretty much the entire race. When we had Adam Cronin there getting overtaken, he was putting up a pretty good fight. And so, even when the big guns came out at the end, with Carpenter, Krause, and White, it was just incredible racing. So I think it was a great race, and onwards to Baku.
Onwards to Baku, indeed. We visit Azerbaijan in 2 weeks, everybody. We'll be announcing more details about that a little bit later on. I want to thank Zach Jones for joining me in the booth. I am Curtis Kenyon, and I have to be a huge shout out, Zach. My friend Brian Hayes, whom I raced with back in the endurance days. Known him for years and years. He's done a lot of streaming for Rocket League back in the day when we were just starting out into the whole esports community thing. He has stepped up and has brought you this stream. He's produced this whole stream today. So huge shout out to Brian, otherwise known as Miner in the Discord. If you're not there yet, please join. Big thank you to Hype Energy for coming on board and supplying us with all the hype we can handle and more. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and take off. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time in Azerbaijan, Baku Grand Prix in 2 weeks.